and they must breathe, and they must strive, and they must scale. Tax reforms. The Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, chaired by Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, is simplifying Nigeria's tax system to reduce multiple taxation, a burden long borne by traders and SMEs, especially across markets in Lagos and the Southeast. These are not abstract policies. They are concrete, targeted measures to ensure that the spirit of Igbo enterprise finds full expression in a modern and competitive Nigerian economy. My brothers and sisters, my elders, and my colleagues, as a minister, I am working every day to stabilize our economic environment, rebuild confidence, and create a fairer playing field for enterprise. While governments can create the framework, it is entrepreneurs like you who will build the future. Your innovation, your networks, and your resilience are the true engines of national growth. Beyond business, this is a time for partnership and for patriotism. Nigeria needs your investment, your confidence, and your voice of support. As a minister also of Southeast extraction, I carry a responsibility, not of favoritism, but of representation. I am committed to ensuring that government policies reflect inclusion, opportunity, and fairness. But partnership is required. Government can design policy, business can activate productivity, and together we can build prosperity. Just yesterday, many of us witnessed how easy and productive it can be to partner with the government. What began as a simple courtesy visit to His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to inform him about today's event concluded with a landmark agreement between the Lagos State government and the Igbo business community in Lagos. It resulted in the establishment of the Lagos Igbo Consultative Council. This council will serve as a formal platform for consultation, collaboration, and coordination on issues of mutual interest between the state governments and the Igbo business community. This is precisely the kind of partnership that we advocate, one that shows how meaningful dialogue with government can yield tangible results and protect your collective assets. I therefore urge all of you to dialogue more with government. Our doors are always open, and as we are indeed your servants. Transformation is never easy. Reforms may be painful before they are even fruitful, but the long-term reward, which includes a stronger naira, lower inflation, modern infrastructure, and expanded access to global markets, will benefit every Nigerian, especially you. Today, I urge you, yourselves, to see yourselves not merely as businessmen and women, but as nation builders. Let us work hand in hand with the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to deliver the shared prosperity that we all desire. To our brothers and sisters in the Southeast, the federal government sees you, values you, and is committed to ensuring that our region is not left behind. From roads and rails to industrial clusters and export processing zones, plans are underway to reposition the Southeast as a hub of manufacturing, innovation, and export in West Africa. This administration firmly believes that economic empowerment is the surest path to unity and peace. When enterprises thrive, divisions fade. When opportunity is shared, hope is renewed. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of the Igbo nation has always been one of triumph over adversity, of turning challenges into opportunities, and adversity and diversity into strength. That same spirit is what Nigeria needs now: optimism, enterprise, and solidarity. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda extends a hand of partnership to all of you. The government is reforming, investing, and building, and it seeks your continued trust and collaboration. Let us together make this decade a decade of Nigerian resurgence, led in no small part by the ingenuity and industriousness of the Igbo people. Let us choose partnership over pessimism. Let us choose progress over politics. Let us choose hope, renewed hope, for our businesses, our communities, and our beloved nation. Thank you very much. May God bless you all. May God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. May God bless our President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. To take us through the reform snapshot, restoring confidence in the economy, I'll call on the Director of Technical Services of Federal Ministry of Finance, Abdulkadir Bashir.
Yes, good afternoon all. Okay, good afternoon all. Just like the Honorable Minister of State Finance has said, there are ongoing fiscal and tax reforms in Nigeria. As you all know, the economic landscape is evolving, and in line with the renewed hope agenda, there are certain reforms that have been put in place with the objective to drive economic growth, enhance revenue generation, improve the business environment, ensure fiscal sustainability, and promote social equality. Under the renewed hope agenda, the reforms have consolidated various federal and state tax laws into the Nigerian Tax Act, which was assented to by Mr. President in June this year. We also have the Nigerian Tax Administration Act. We have the Nigerian Revenue Service Act and the Joint Revenue Board Act. All these are reforms to change the economic landscape and improve macroeconomic stability in the country. Some of the changes in the structure of the personal income tax, as you all know, is exemption of lower cadre from payment of tax. So those who earn 800,000 and below are now exempted, with a range of 0 to 25% for higher tax earners. There's also been an income tax incentive for lower companies with lower turnover of 50 million and below are now not liable to pay company income tax. Then those with 100 million and above, 100 million and below, but less than 50 million will pay 25%, while those with 100 million and above will continue to pay the 30%. Also, there are incentives for those small businesses and multinationals with minimum effective tax rates for multinationals. Now, then of course you all know that the VAT are in line with government assurance that there won't be new taxes. The VAT has remained at 7.5%, with businesses now able to recover input VAT, which was not there before, with the list of zero-rated items also on goods now expanded. So the VAT, as we know, the distribution, the states will get a higher percentage now, unlike in the past where the federal government took 15%, the federal government is now taking 10%, with the states taking 50% and the local government 30%. And also, like I said, the new, zero rated has now been expanded with a long list of items, and there are also new measures to include development levy replacing sectoral, sector-specific taxes. So companies can now also get a 5% on certain areas, which also includes companies operating in priority sectors like manufacturing, mining, renewable energy, agro-processing. Eligible businesses are to receive 5% tax credit for qualifying tax expenditure. As you all know, also, there's been reforms around tariffs. In June last year, the president gave a 6-month window for the importation of basic food items into the country. This is geared as a inflation reduction strategy so that the cost of food items can go down in the local market. And we've seen that happen with inflation of about 33% going down to 18%. So these reforms are aimed at boosting government revenue, diversify the economy, and improve the business environment by simplifying tax processes and aligning with global best practices. So government, under the proposed fiscal policy measure for 2026, is also looking at reviewing downwards some of the tariffs on critical raw materials for manufacturing in Nigeria. This we're looking at to do so that the cost of products would also come down, especially also now that Nigeria has begun implementing the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, where a lot of products have been liberalized to come into Nigeria from the African country at zero duty. So we're looking at areas where Nigeria can also begin to export into the African market that has a population of 1.4 billion. So this reforms, like I said, is geared towards boosting government revenue and also diversifying the economy. So this is a synopsis of some of the reforms that are ongoing now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is the first discussion. And this will comprise of financing growth and breaking barriers to credit facilities and access. I'll call on some of the parastatals, and I ask, or rather I'll beseech, that we don't do beyond 5 minutes, please. 3 to 5 minutes, that's what we have for this particular session. So I'm going to call the representative of the BOI. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I want to stand on existing protocol. I'll just talk a bit about Bank of Industry and what we're doing right now. My name is Ifoma Uzokala. I'm the Executive Director, Large Enterprises, Bank of Industry. Bank of Industry were established, we're about over 65 years old, with a mandate to industrialize Nigeria. So I want to just start with that so that we know we're here, or Bank of Industry is here really to do business and ensure that we align with whatever government in power is doing, we align with their growth plan. Right now is the Renewed Hope agenda. What we've also done to ensure that we align with this is that we've identified some thematic areas and some high growth, high impact areas. And these areas, of course, include youth, women, it includes technology, it includes climate, and what have we done in this area? We have various programs. So when we talk about women, we have special products for women that are at very good rates, good tenor, and we know that, yes, collateral is usually a problem. So we also partnered with some other DFIs in Nigeria, and we've come up with our partner, seated right here, I'm sure is going to give the details of how they operate, but because we realized that collateral was a major challenge for especially SMEs, so we came up with that. We also realized that youths have to be properly engaged for a lot of things to insecurity. I know it's one of the major challenges right now, but we also look at it from the point of view that youths are properly employed and engaged, it will be reduced a lot. So part of our thematic area right now addresses youth. We also do a lot in the SME space. Okay, there's a program we're just concluding, it's called the Rapid. What that program has done is that it actually goes outside the rural area, outside the urban areas, into the rural areas. into the rural areas to fund businesses in those spaces. We realize that, yes, a lot is happening in Lagos, in state capital. So for anybody to qualify for that funding, the person has to live at least 20 kilometers away from the state capital. So that's a program we started, and we're getting a lot of traction on it. We're also working on technology. It's also a very big space for us, because we realize that because a lot now, we find the youths that they do a lot with technology. So we realize that is important. So we're funding technology. It's also one of our thematic areas right now, and we're doing a lot in that space. I've spoken to my sister seated next to me, and we're going to continue the collaboration. We had a collaboration before, and we're going to continue doing that, just to ensure that we get to those areas that are important. Our interest rates are, single digits for most of our facilities. No, single digits. Okay, I talked about the program we have for women, the GLOW. We just launched it. That's under 10%. Well, rural, the RAPID that I talked about is under 10%. So we have a lot of facilities that we give at under 10%. The beauty about what the Bank of Industry does is that they are usually long tenors. So most of our facilities have tenors of between 3 years, and we go as high as 5 years. And then when it's infrastructure, we go as high as 10 years. Infrastructure is also another area that we realize is very important. We've done a lot in that space also, and we fund a lot of infrastructure projects. I also want to say that we also fund large enterprises. When I say large enterprises, for facilities that go over 2 billion, and when I say over 2 billion, it can go as high as what our SOL is. Currently, our SOL is over 100 billion. So just to give an idea, but we work within our SOL, but from 2 billion and above, we'll do that. So basically, that's BOI in a nutshell. We're over 65 years. We align with what the government is doing. So the Renewed Hope agenda is topmost on our agenda right now, and we're aligned with most of the developmental plans of the government. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Up next is the Managing Director of Nigeria Export-Import Bank, NEXIM, Abubakar Bello.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister of State. Honorable Minister of State Finance, ladies and gentlemen that keep the economy of Nigeria running, because these are the people I see. My name is Abba Bello. It's Abubakar Abba Bello, I prefer to be called Abba Bello. Very short. And Managing Director, Nigeria Export-Import Bank. Now, the name of my institution suggests, what we do is we promote diversification of Nigeria's exports, especially the non-oil exports. But let me just pause and ask a question here. Are there any exporters here? Yes. There are not. I suspected so. Are there any prospective exporters here? Of course. Okay, I asked that question because with the reforms of this government, what has become very obvious is that the opportunities for business are in export. Especially with the coming and operationalization of Africa Continental Free Trade Area. You have a market that is not 240 million people anymore, but a market that is 1.4 billion people in an economy that is like 5 times or almost 10 times the size of Nigeria's economy. So opportunities, I know many of you here are trading domestically. The opportunities are opening up for you to expand your businesses beyond the borders of Nigeria. That is export. Now, Nexim, that was set up in 1991 to support that effort, has over the years done that. But not too many exporters have taken that opportunity. And what is the opportunity? The opportunity is, after identifying what you want to trade in, identifying a market outside Nigeria, you are going to need finance, right? And that is where we come in. The finance we've given over 34 years ago now is to support that business. And we have so many products that we have done, just like my colleague from BOI said, in thematic areas. Apart from the major large corporates who are in export, we have facilities and products that are for small and medium enterprises, for women and for youth. We call them Smith and YF. We also facilitate, apart from the finances, we are also a facilitating agency. We do other things that will support exporters to get their products to their various markets. And Nexim does it in conjunction with other agencies that you see, including NEPC, who I'm sure is going to speak and tell you all the things that you as importers or you who are trading domestically are not getting the benefits. In terms of the flexibility of financing, when BOI spoke and said her pricing is single digit, I saw some hesitation. And I'm going to tell you, for us, our funding is at 9%. It's single digit, and I'm saying it confidently to you. If you walk into Nexim Bank today to borrow money for export, we are going to give you the money at 9%. We are going to avail you the money at a single digit interest rate. Now, thank you very much. And that single digit interest rate does not have any other hidden charges. No fees, no commissions, nothing. So your total borrowing cost is at 9%. So I will encourage you to first look at the opportunities that trading across borders offers you. It enhances your business. And then the benefits that accrue to you, with the Honorable Minister and the Director from Finance spoke about all the tax incentives, the stability of the foreign exchange market today, and when many of you get into this business, what happens? There is going to be abundant foreign exchange within the market, which also helps your other existing business today. When we say you should export, we are not saying that you should also stop your current business. It is good that you also have those current businesses. Now, I said we also offer other facilitation products. Recently, we've just had a public hearing in the National Assembly to introduce a financing product called factoring. Many of you have that. Factoring is just refinancing your receivables. It's a product that we're introducing into the market to ensure that even when bank financing becomes difficult for you, where you have receivables, you can discount them, get paid immediately, and then get funding to continue your business while your invoices are being processed. In addition to that, for those of us who are manufacturers, we also finance your capital requirements, your CapEx, equipment, provided your production is going to be not 100% for export, but from 30% or 40% of your output. If it goes to export, you can come to us for financing. And for this, the financing is not even fund financing. It's going to be an export credit type financing, where you pay for the equipment as you produce, okay? And it can go from anywhere from 3 years up to 10 years. So while we encourage you to be exporters, we encourage you also to be exporters of processed products. When after opens up fully, between we and our neighbors, we basically have the same raw materials, we have the same consumption habits, and so on and so forth. So we can't take raw materials from here to Ghana. Why? Because we have the same raw materials, basically. We can only trade if we make a difference to the raw materials. And that is why we have an initiative that is called PAY. We're going to produce export products, but before we export them, we're going to add value to them before the export. And that is what is the financing behind our equipment finance. So I know amongst us there are industrialists. I will encourage you to start looking at the export market within the region in Africa, and you can come to us. We'll be waiting for you to finance at single digits.
Thank you very much. Up next is from DBN, Development Bank of Nigeria, Ayodele Ojoshikwe, Head of Business.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Minister of State Finance, all protocols duly observed. Thank you for this opportunity, Madam, to share about DBN. A lot of us here don't know about DBN, so I'll just quickly speak under 4 areas. One, I'll talk about who we are, what we do, our core mandate, what are the areas and products that we have for you, and how can you apply. Firstly, the Development Bank of Nigeria was established in 2014 by the federal government of Nigeria in partnership with some multilateral development organizations like the World Bank, Development Bank of France, EFD, Development Bank of Germany, KfW, European Investment Bank, and a couple of other multilaterals. But we got our license and started operating in 2017. And we got our license as a wholesale development finance institution. Underline the word wholesale. Some people have said, some of you have said, you don't know DBN. Who are these people? The reason is because we don't go directly to the MSMEs. We fund through those we call our participating financial institutions. These are banks, deposit money banks, microfinance banks, finance houses, finance companies, mortgage banks that we are profiled to take funding from DBN to give to MSMEs. And almost all the banks around you are in that category. Now, what is our mandate? Our mandate is three-pronged. One is to provide access to funding for MSMEs. And till date, in the past 7 years, we disbursed over 1 trillion to over 700,000 MSMEs. And also, the second leg of our mandate is to de-risk lending to MSMEs. So a lot of MSMEs are not able to access funding because they lack collateral, and the banks want to be collateralized. So we have a wholly owned subsidiary known as the Impact Credit Guarantee Limited, who issues guarantees to support lending to MSMEs. And so far, we've issued over 248 billion to over 65,000 businesses. The third leg of our business is technical assistance and capacity building. We've taken different banks across the country on what we call a technical assistance journey, because a lot of banks are not supporting lending because of gaps in their systems, because of process gaps, because of understanding deficiency in certain products and industries. So we sit with them, identify these areas, and work with them to create products to fund these areas. Also, we fund we train MSMEs as well of these banks to help them understand how to do business better, how to keep their books, and how to run sustainably. And so far, we've trained over 60 banks and also trained over 15,000 MSMEs. Now, what products do we have? Firstly, we have the long-term finance product. Part of the feedback from our banks is that some businesses don't qualify for their funding because by the time they do the cash flows and they are seeing the repayment pattern, they feel that the repayment is too heavy on the banks. And why don't they give long-term loans? Because they don't have long-term funding. So they don't want to commit to you that they can fund you for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, because they're not sure that the funding they have can stay that long. That is the bridge, or that is the gap that DBN bridges. So we give it long-term funding, accessible, and up to 8 years, 9 years. We also have moratorium available up to a year. So long as the bank is willing to give you that moratorium, we will give them the funding. And our funding cuts across different sectors and segments: manufacturing, agriculture, transport and logistics, name it. Actually, you can use it for any area. Our funding is sector agnostic, but we do have focused sectors and segments that I've mentioned. Also, there are areas like green that we're very particular about. Then funding for women in business, youth as well, startups. We ensure that we push our banks to fund startups and first-time borrowers. In fact, 26% of the businesses we funded are actually first-time access companies. I think lastly is how do you apply? You would go to your bank, request for this funding, and then from there they're able to profile you, get you the offer letter, and come to us for the funding. And within 48 hours, we disburse to them. We also have special products like anybody in agriculture, livestock sub-segment of the agricultural industry, whether dairy production or anything in that area. We have single-digit funding available for that, and we have rates for other areas that are also very attractive and sustainable. I think I will stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next, and the last for this particular segment, is the MDCU, National Credit Guarantee Company, Bonaventure Okaimo.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. While I'm resting on the existing proposal, I would like to use this opportunity to thank the Minister of State Finance sincerely for setting this up and giving us the opportunity to come and share with you. Thank you very much, ma'am. So now you know that NCGC, National Credit Guarantee Company, is the newest agency in town. So you're hearing people that are old enough to be our mothers, grandfathers. But I can tell you that despite that, we have a lot to contribute. Now we all know that Mr. President has said we are going to have $1 trillion economy. And we can see the signs. We are going towards that already. The Central Bank of Nigeria mandated Nigerian banks to increase their share capital. When they made that pronouncement, a lot of people were saying, where is that money going to come from? But as we speak, over 11 banks have announced that they have made this capitalization. So we still talk about the gap in financing, in providing access to finance for MSMEs and every other person. But these banks have met their capitalization. That's aside of my brother DFIs that are seated here today, that are ready, willing, and able to fund all of us. So why are we not providing finance to these groups? As we speak today, MSMEs that contribute over 48% to GDP, employing over 80% of our workforce, they don't have access to finance. Local manufacturers, less than 40% of them can get funding. And then consumer credits, we shouldn't even go there. Less than 3% of GDP is what the credit that is available for the consumer. And why am I saying this? I'm going to tell you shortly. The banks that they say they don't have money, that have raised these monies, before now they used to provide funding to the big companies like Dangote and Co. These companies are now going to the market and raising monies themselves. So there is money now available for all of you. But why are they not giving you money? You know why? Two major reasons. One, they say your risk is too high. They are unwilling to give you funds because historically, the NPL ratios from providing finance to MSMEs and local manufacturers and consumer credit is very high. Secondly, because of that risk, they want you to provide them with collateral, and you don't have the collateral. So what Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR is saying today, when he established the National Credit Guarantee Company on the 29th of May 2025, was that 60% of your risk, the federal government of Nigeria has taken it. You have a viable project, go to your bank, tell them to fund you, or mark my words, viable project. Viable project. So please, the banks are ready. We at NCGC, we have signed memorandum of understanding with over 15 banks. When my sister from BOI was talking, she made mention of the collaboration. We have Project GLOW, is for women-led enterprises. We have attached our credit guarantee to that. So for women that have requirement for financing, you go to BOI, we'll give you a single digit, and we'll take part of the risk that you are bringing. We'll share with them, and they are willing to then give you this loan. Aside of that, the way we have structured this, all the banks that we have signed this memorandum of understanding with, we've also committed over 75 billion naira in partial credit guarantees at 5 billion per bank for women and youth-led enterprises. So the commitment is there. What they are waiting for are viable projects. I don't want to take too much of your time. I don't want to go back and talk about technical things. Oh, INCGC does this, how they do this, and how they do that. It is very, very clear. Have a viable project. Go to your bank. Tell them you have a viable project, and your security cover, 60% will be borne by the National Credit Guarantee Company Limited. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, this is the end of this particular session. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, sorry to break your hearts. We just have space for 2 questions. We have just 2 spaces for questions. We're running against time. At least 5 questions. Who am I when the Honorable Minister said 5? Okay, so we have 5 questions. Yeah, 5 questions of it? To get there, oh yes. Okay. All right, so because it is very important, I'll start with my chairman, sir.
Honorable Minister, Madam, let me start by saying that I feel like crying, but I will not cry. Because on the day after my school, my father sent me to go and do boy. This is the first time government is saying they want to cooperate with us. Let me tell you, these traders is here are the engine of this economy. Over the years, we build, government destroy. But from what I'm hearing today, it's like government is no longer destroyed, but they want to help us to rebuild. Government built International Trade Fair Complex 1977, first start 77. By 85, that property collapsed. Lagos State Government, Lagos Chamber of Commerce used to have trade fair there. When it collapsed, they left to TBS. The property became abandoned between 85 till 93. These traders here picked it up, revived it, It became one of the highest markets in Africa. Okay? Without any single support from government. The government support us? No. That is number one. When we built it, before we went there, properties from Amuwa are below 500,000. Immediately we move in, you can't get property in Amuwa Eba. All that area less than 100, 200, 300 million today. Which means government is beginning to think that we appreciate these men here who add value to government. Not only that, these people here, I am happy when they said that we are the highest employer of labor. Because if you go into Alaba, you go into Computer Village, every shop has more than, before it used to be dropouts, primary 6. We graduated that today we don't employ if you are not a graduate. That means they will go to school and come back, we will absorb them. We will absorb them. Without any support from government. Like I said, without worrying you, I want to tell you that on our own we have also developed a system called cross-guaranteed. So, my organs on the table, we have a system. Because over the years, we know, we only saw it in TV, that 150 billion is being budgeted by government. We only see it in pages of newspaper. It never get to us. This is the first time government is telling us we will be part of it. We don't need to go to any other commercial bank. Come to us, we have a system to guarantee our members. And it's better for you than going to those banks that will take the money and not give it to us. Am I saying you are mine? We know very well, some of us don't they read. You know, say before, we started this business without going to school. But along the line, we started reading. So we are following that gradually what is happening. What I'm saying, Honorable Minister, is that come to us. Let me tell you the model which has worked. Oga, who's always is an importer? Why is he Oga? Oga who's always an importer? Chikasi is an importer. We have 20 boys in the market. You give them goods to go and sell. They will sell and return your money. If they return the money, you give them again, Abi. If they don't return the money, will you give them again? So in the market, we know those who eat Oga's money. We know that. And funny thing is that if you are in that character, poverty is knocking on your door. Because by the time you take my goods you didn't sell, when the Ogas are drinking their trade in the evening, we will use you to discuss. You see that boy? You know they pay. Okay? So we have a guarantee that worked. If you develop a model, we will cross-guarantee ourselves. We get 10 people, they will cross-guarantee themselves. If A no pay, you don't need to worry yourself. The other 9 will go and force you to pay. The other 9 will go and force you to pay. We already have that model. So deal with us. Stop using third party. Since government is saying they want to be part of our development. Okay? So, in summary, Honorable Minister will live long. Because, look, I know custom never talk. Custom never talk. But the highest problem we have. Huh? Okay, you ask us if we are exporters. Who asked us? Now you ask us. Do you know why we keep quiet? Because if I go and carry yam to export, when I get to port, custom will hold it. The yam will spoil. How do you want me to go and export again? Oh, madam, all of us here under a standard, as early as 2001, we organized a seminar where we brought your people to come and talk to us because we want to graduate from importation to manufacturing and exporting. That's what happened in China. But policies and people you say to do this work will frustrate us. Everybody knows that before now, all African countries come to Nigeria to buy. Is it not true? All African countries. Why did they stop coming? Because when they are coming, when they get to the port, the border, custom, police, I don't say they will arrest me when I talk, but waiting to happen again. They go hold them. When you disturb that person at the port, will he come again? Okay, we know it. And Dubai work like that is a Nigeria is supposed to be a port. But once they come in and we have bad experience, they will stop going. So why we stop exporting is because customs is frustrating us. There is a lot of commodity in Nigeria that need to be exported, but when they put your hand there, your leg, will you do it again? No. Because let me stop here. Thank you very much.
For those who know Prince Tony Wak is you know that he's a beautiful orator, and I think he has spoken your mind, right? Because I agree, you know God does it. Because you go straight to the question. Straight to the question. Okay, so I'll ask the lady over there. I'm coming to meet you in the next few seconds. All right, ladies.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister, it's a pleasure to have you here. Very distinguished people in the room. I stand on existing protocols. My name is Lady Dr. Chizo Malize, and I'm the Managing Director of FITC. FITC is Financial Institution Training Center and is a Central Bank of Nigerian owned entity. I've got a few comments. It's extremely exciting to hear all the great things that almost everybody here, a good number of them, my professional colleagues, brothers and sisters from Abba Bello, 20 years of excellent work in the financial system, and of course BOI, my sister Nonye, everyone, DBN, they are all my professional stakeholders along the journey. But I'd like to point out something, and that's from a point of view of experience. Data and insight is very critical to everything we do, and we add value to all of the objectives of today. It does seem to me like there may be an alienation if we do not filter our audience and stakeholders appropriately. A lot of discussions today kind of tilt towards enterprise, entrepreneurship, MSMEs, SMEs. I'd like to point out to us that a significant part of the stakeholders within the Southeast personalities are technocrats. A good number of them who run businesses. Like I'm speaking, for instance, my dear sister here, the Chief Executive Officer of Britannia U, doesn't fall into some of the discussions we're having. We also have in the room quite a lot of the chairman of Nepal, large corporates in its own merit, with branches outside of Nigeria around huge oil corporation and enterprise. The executive director and chairman of Keystone Bank, who in other arms is also running an oil enterprise and large corporation, and so many others. I highlight and mention this so that we do not, in the middle of our stakeholder mapping, forget a critical constituency, and then we'll come back again to do the same thing. It is a feedback to every single of us so that we can map the stakeholders appropriately without alienating any. And I'm not talking about alienating individuals, I'm talking about alienating a critical sector. Many here are not MSMEs. Many here are not just entrepreneurs.
Many in this room are large corporate executives who are doing big-time businesses. That will help our approach. The second point that I would also like to leave in the room as we harness this vision, which is very laudable, I must say, is that the stakeholder engagement must be appropriate. Every single discussions we've had around here, every single pitches that we put on the table would actually require smart, intelligent interpretation in terms of the value proposition. In my capacity as the Chief Executive Officer of FITC, one of the things we do is solid capacity building for the financial service sector, from director level to staff. We are more than happy to support you to break down this communication and messages so that they are appropriate. Otherwise, we would end up speaking over people's head without the value being on the table. And you do know that I'm not speaking as Dr. Chizo Malize, but as an institution that is helping the financial service sector in the last 45 years. A government entity and an entity of the of Central Bank of Nigeria. Because stakeholder marketing, stakeholder engagement is a success for everything, and the communications must be right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well transmitted. Please, just so that this does not escape our attention, I want to recognize very quickly the presence of the Honorable Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Rural Development, Mr. Robert Coyote. You're most welcome, sir. Very next is Dr. Muyiwa Badedeshi, the MD CEO of LOMA. You're most welcome, sir. You're most welcome, sir. We also have Barrister Uchi M. Ubochi, Lagos State Markets Advisory Board. You're most welcome, sir. And then the Executive Chairman, Ikeja Local Government. You repeated it because he's now our friend, so we're going to call him one more time. All right. I have Otumba Francis Meshoyin, OOM, President Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, and I have been asked to tell you to come to the high table. Please. Otumba, where are you seated, sir? Yes, please. Round of applause. Okay, next. Yes. I'm listening to the Honorable Minister. Will have to get it. Yes, let's have that man over there. Let's have that man over there. But you need to come here because of the cameras. Come down and make it a little bit snappy. No.
It's okay, yeah?
Yes, please. No, to come to where the cameras can capture you, please. Okay?
Honorable Minister, I want to say God bless you. God has already blessed you, but God will continue to bless you. I was going to say to your question, this opportunity. Take the camera. Take the camera. Yeah. Take the camera, sir. Take the camera. My question is very brief. How do you explain to us traders how to make good use of this opportunity that the federal government has brought forward for us? I would like the last speaker to break it down to the level that traders will be able to understand it, so that by the time we step out of this room now, we begin to make good use of the opportunity. Break it down so that every one of us that want to get engaged in this particular stuff will be able to know how to go about starting. The stage by stage, the step by step process by which we can enjoy it. I'm asking this because by the grace of God and the Chairman Business Development in Computer Age, I know that after this particular program, a lot of people will begin to ask me questions. How do we begin to get engaged in this particular federal government project? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I know a lot of people want to ask questions, but I know how brief can be. Yes. So please, I will ask that Senator wraps it up for us in this session. The other sessions, there are questions to be asked and answered, no problem. We have 5. So how many people have spoken? 3. Okay, so after one more person, then I can hand over to the Senator, right? So both of you are raising your hands. Who do I answer? I don't know. You see? Nobody answer. So, ready. But very quickly, let me recognize the presence of Chief Chike Madeki, President Akai Kenya, and then Honorable Paul Warren, More Jesus.
Thank you. My name is Prince Renatus Okonkwo, the chairman of the Trazini Group. The last speaker said something that's why I wanted to build on. The Honorable Minister, thank you so much again and again. Before the Honorable Minister came, she has said that she wanted this forum, this entire forum, to be active, so that this whole activity today will not be a talk show, will not be a talk show. She has said, she was asking me how best can we do it. And she also suggested she wants to have possibly a WhatsApp forum. I said that's possible because everybody's name and number is being collated in the reception. So we are going to form a WhatsApp forum, active. So she said she will be in that forum so that she will be dropping information in that forum. She will be dropping information possibly daily on that forum. Why? Is because we may just finish here like a jamboree, as usual. We call it usual. Some of us have attended business meetings, summits, all kinds of things in Geneva, in New York, and wonderful speech, great speech are made, especially the one that Prince, my fellow Prince, have just made. Great speech. But once we leave this hall, everybody forgets it. This very particular meeting, the Honorable Minister of State Finance has said it will not be the same. Furthermore, the Honorable Minister has also said that she is going to put a desk in her office, a desk for this forum. A desk is going to be established in her office. And she's going to have people working for this forum in that desk. I've also said to her that I think we will nominate 1 or 2 private sector people to join that desk. And that we, ourselves, we are equal to task. We can pay their salaries, but we need a continuous follow-up, a continuous contact after this engagement. Never, I'm a good operator. Closing what the minister have just said, we want to ask questions. I'm sure that so many people do not understand this. Yes. So, finally, we have one question for customs. I don't know whether they are. Say it. Okay. All right. God bless you.
Honorable Minister,
Honorable Minister, every good thing comes to an end sometime. But before I start, I need to make sure that you overlook the first part that happened with the breaking of the cola. The normal thing is the host that brings a cola. So I assume you are the one that brought the cola. So you are not the first person to take the cola. You gave us cola. So I think that is the position. There are three things I want to mention. The comment made by Chief Okonkwo is very important of having a desk. But having a desk in Abuja will not help the people in Lagos. So something has to happen whereby a branch of that desk to be in Lagos so that they can have easy access. WhatsApp is okay, but somebody might need to go and sit down in the office and be educated about what is happening. I think that's very important. Another important thing, honorable minister, which we have to talk, especially to those in charge of SMEs, they should cancel issue of corporate finance. Instead, they should be doing more project finance. That will enable them to grow. Because when you ask for collateral, where will they get it? So the focus should be more on project finance rather than corporate finance. And finally, honorable minister, another problem we have in Nigeria, which was taught on by Nelson, single digit. Is there a way for these gentlemen that are involved in SME to access facilities based on single digit? I think that's my conclusion. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, I understand how you feel at this moment. But please, the Honorable Minister has said that we'll move on. And I'm going to leave his rec to my co-MC for questions. So there are many more opportunities for questions. Yes, other sessions are coming up. So that's what I'm handing over to Moji to take over from here. So Moji, the questions you know how to write around. Okay?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much. We're excited that you're here. I know that you're seeing a new face and you're wondering, who is that? My name is Mojibadi, and I'm really excited to be here. Particularly because this is not just a talk shop. We are looking forward to, and I'm of course re-echoing the commitment of the Honorable Minister of State to assure everybody here, all entrepreneurs and the private sector represented, that this is not a time where we're just gathering you for a Saturday where you just want to waste your time. It's a commitment that we want to listen, we want to collaborate and co-create with the private sector. So please rest assured that we have your best interest at heart. I'm very confident of that. But we have to move to the next segment. We have another presentation from FIRS, and this is of course a very vital part of our businesses, taxes. And so we have but before then, let me also announce that if we have any more questions from this last segment, you can actually write them down, because if we continue with questions, we won't be able to move on, but we must touch on different aspects of our businesses. So if you have any questions, you can write down. We have notepads. If you signal, myself or my co-MC will pick up, and then we'll find a way to address everything. But we're moving on quickly now, and we'll be discussing tax clarity and compliance, reducing the burden on businesses, a very, very vital part, especially with the new tax reform. So we want to understand the impact on our businesses, and to make that presentation, of course, representing the Executive Chairman, Mr. Zach Adedeji, we have our presenter who is here from FIRS. Thank you very much. A round of applause for her, please. Thank you very much. She will, of course, I'll allow her to introduce herself and her office, and then we'll start the presentation.
Honorable Minister of State, my name is Stella Abuja, the Acting Director large taxpayers department, oil and gas, FRS. Yes, for the Federal Inland Revenue, representing the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Yes, for the Federal Inland Revenue Service, our mandate is to assess, collect, and then account for taxes. Of course, we know what the government uses taxes collected for, so I don't need to go into that. Before now, what government use taxes for, just in simple terms, is to finance government business, infrastructure, develop roads, schools, hospitals, and all of that we get to enjoy. And before now, of course, we know the issues we have with the tax. Of course, our Honorable Minister had talked about the tax reforms. Before that, on the part of the taxpayers, we have the multiple taxes, multiple tax collecting agencies, and then the complex tax rule. Of course, you will agree with me that our taxes before now, it's like heavy compliance body. And then we have this inefficient tax reform system. For the general public, of course, we have this low tax to GDP ratio, cloudy and opaque tax administrative system. Then for investment unfriendly system. And on the part of the tax authorities, we have archaic and scattered tax rules. Of course, we have so many tax laws before now. And then low voluntary tax compliance, unending disputes on jurisdiction, who collects what and where does it go to. And then limited opportunity to deploy technology. And then on the part of the government, we have the suboptimal revenue yield, unfulfilled campaign promises, inability to attract investment, stunted economic growth, and then political backlash. Just like one of our elders have talked about that this is the first time that government is getting interested in their business. And then the reform, that is my colleague from the Ministry of Finance had hammered so much on that, on the objective of these new tax reforms, is to harmonize our tax laws and then the efficiency and modernization. Some of our tax laws are as old as 1929. You agree with me that is the Stamp Duty Tax Act. Then also for the petroleum tax, petroleum profit tax. And then the another aim of this objective of the tax reform is to simplify the tax rules, efficient government spending, transparency and integrity of the revenue administration, update the tax laws. My colleague has mentioned the laws now that we have instead of the so many tax laws that we have before now. And then, of course, the international standard, that is, they said no country economy is immune to global and financial changes, and as such, the tax system will generally accord with international standard and best practices everywhere in the world. And then another thing is for us to broaden our tax base. My colleague here has also talked about the various benefits, and I'll also talk about it so that we'll know that it's not just about the federal government collecting our taxes, but also there are so many things we need to enjoy as far as the new tax reforms as far as the new tax reform. That is for us to have an efficient tax administration, voluntary compliance, to make it easy for every taxpayer, every company or every taxpayer, the case may be, to be able to comply voluntarily, and then to even bring a tax administration to your doorstep. Gone are those days that you have to come to the tax office before you get your tax business done. Right from the comfort of your home, so many things can be done as a result of the so many technology that the FRS, Federal Inland Revenue, is putting in place. We are talking about the growing economy. He has talked about low-income earners, they don't need to pay taxes again. That is from 800 and below, they don't need to pay taxes again, so that it can encourage people to employ more businesses to employ more people. And then we are talking about progressive taxation. We are talking about new investment inflows, and also another benefit that we're expecting from these tax reforms is small businesses growth. Not just one of our sisters that talked about that we have so many large taxpayers in the house. I agree with you that we have so many of them in the House. Like I said, I am the acting director of the Large Taxpayers Department, Oil and Gas. So your concerns, you can always reach us. Like I said, we are bringing tax administration to your doorsteps. However, the taxpayers too, they have their own obligation. They have their own obligation. And what is their own obligation? You agree with me that the system that we are running is the self-assessment regime. That is, you assess yourself and then compute your taxes and then send it to our office. And it's an obligation for every taxpayer to register your businesses. Some of us, our businesses are not registered, either small or large taxpayers. So we are saying that you have an obligation as a taxpayer to register your businesses and obtain a taxpayer identification. We call it tax ID now, as far as the new tax reform is concerned. And it's expected that you file your returns as at when due. It's not when you need tax clearance, that's when you begin to look for where to go and file your returns. So it's expected that your returns, it depends on your accounting year end. If you have December 31st as your accounting year end, the law gives you 6 months to come file your returns. So you don't need to wait. By the time you wait after the due date, sanctions are applicable. That is, there are penalties, and there are penalties that are attached to it. And with this new tax reform, like I said, voluntary compliance is encouraged, while non-compliance is not something to be joked with. So it's expected that I don't want to go into the figures of for the sanction that is attached, but I'm sure somebody will ask questions as far as that one is concerned, and we will eventually mention it. And it's expected that none of your obligation is for you to charge your deduct, collect, and remit VAT, withholding tax, and you're paying in fulfillment of agency rule under the tax law on or before due date. And you also have the duty, that is, as a taxpayer, you have the duty to keep proper books and records of business transactions. Not that when audit or verification exercise comes up, then you begin to say you don't have records or you don't have your books. And then at that point in time, the Federal Inland Revenue or the tax authority comes in and then give you their best of judgment assessment, which might not go down well with you. So it's better that you have an obligation, as far as the tax laws are concerned, to keep your proper books and records of your business transactions. And then it's expected that you also cooperate with the tax officers. Like I said, I'm representing the Federal Inland Revenue. I'm sure that a colleague from the Lagos State Internal Revenue will also come and talk about what is expected of you as a taxpayer, as the case may be. And it's also expected for you to notify the relevant tax authority of changes in your business circumstances and activity. And it's not just about, like I talked about, the timely submission of our tax returns. There are deadlines that are attached to when to file your returns. For VAT returns, you have 21st of the other month to file your returns. Then for your company income tax, you have 6 months after the year end, the company's year end, to file their returns, as the case may be. And then for those in the petroleum tax industry, of course, you know that you file your estimates on a monthly basis. And it's also expected that the returns that you file, they are accurate. They are accurate. Most times, thank God for the tax consultants that we have, who can also, they are there to help you, ensure that your returns are accurate. Because if you don't file accurate returns, one way or the other, we get to know that the tax authority gets to know. And by the time, of course, we have our checklist that we normally use. You too have your own checklist to ensure that your tax returns are filed accurately, so that you will not be sanctioned. And then you must ensure that the tax returns that you file, they are complete. They are complete. That is all the information, the schedules, it must be attached to it. And then, if at all, of course, the laws also gives room for extension. For instance, if you have to file your returns at the end of, if you have your accounting year end December 31st, and you have 6 months later to file, of course, you can always write to the FRS to say, okay, I need extensions. Of course, if it's in line with what, don't clap, we also have our own, so we cannot say because you can file that you can, you you can request for extension, you now begin to rest on that. At least we will look at it, whether your request or your request, if it's valid. Not that you just come and say we should grant that extension. We also look at it and we will use that discretion to know whether it's valid or not valid before we can approve that. And also, okay, like I mentioned the benefits and all of that. So I want to employ all of us, for those of us who are here to register our businesses, please come and register your business. Come and register your business. And like I said, we are bringing tax administration to your doorstep. Our numbers are available everywhere. As far as these new tax reforms are concerned, I'm sure some of you would have been engaging, some of you, at least for those in the oil and gas industry, which is my own department, we have been engaging them as far as these tax reforms are concerned, and we will continue to engage them to ensure that we are all acquainted with the tax laws, to know to know what we ought to do, and also for us to understand and flow together as far as the tax reforms are concerned. And also as far as the tax,
people are itching to ask questions. Yes, questions. So let's allow.
I thought I want to talk about the rights. You also have a right as far as these tax laws are concerned. But however,
thank you very much, Madam Stella. So we'll go straight to questions because our time is fast spent. We can take about 3 questions, but straight to the questions for anyone who has. Okay, I don't think there are questions. I'd like to recognize and announce the arrival of the Honorable Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edo. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you very much. It's great to have you here. Just before you walked in, Honorable Minister, we had a presentation from FIRS and we're talking about tax reforms, clarity, and just making sure that everybody understood. So we had a presentation from Madam Stella Okabuzo, and now we're throwing it open to, okay? If you have questions, just signify by raising your hand. We'll give you the microphone. Or please, let's keep it short, straight to the point. Questions? Okay, sir.
Honorable Minister, Mr. Wale Edo, Honorable Minister for State, let me first of all thank you for organizing this wonderful program, and I want to join you to continue because we have learned a lot. My question is to the FIRS. Why will you collect 25% tax? And as you all are aware, oil and gas industry, we have been making losses. From January till now, I am the Deputy National Chairman of that man. We have been in price war, and we have been losing money. And when we lose money, you now collect minimum tax. So I want you to address it because, particularly the oil and gas industry, we cannot pay minimum tax this time around because from January till now, we have been losing money. We have been making losses because of competition. So I want you to address the issue of minimum tax. And also, other speakers that have spoken, it seems to me that there is no program for the oil and gas, because when the last speaker said that you have budgeted 5 billion for each bank to give loan to traders, and I know that a cargo of PMS is more than 22 billion naira, sent in AGO. So it means we don't have anything for us. I want them to address it and make provision for oil and gas. I am the MD of Mainland Oil and Gas. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your question. You addressed it. Okay. We have a representative from the other side. I know someone was.
Honorable Minister, my name is Oscar Paul Ikechukwu, the President, Balogun Business Association, Trade Fair Complex. On the issue of the tax, actually is where we are concerned, because an average trader did not in any way understand the current tax reform. So what we actually need is, in a way, to bring it down to us, the way we can understand it. Because that's the essence. I know what we are contributing to the economy. So we need the tax reform to be well spelled out to us and the way to go about it. So with that, we can be able to get in. We have 3 months left, if not less than 2 months, to the before the tax reform will take effect from January 1st. So we need to be included in the tax reform by explaining to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Inclusion, we cannot even overemphasize. So one final question. Okay. So you have to please come here, sir. So we'll take this final one before we move to answering the questions, and then.
My honorable ministers, I want to start on the existing protocol. My name is Chief Dr. Kanemis Namdi Amajui, the President General of Alaba International Market Association. Yes, I've been raising up my hands to ask questions. And as a trader, the question I want to ask is what that concerns us. First and foremost, I want to start. I was doing business with in Ghana, and all of a sudden a policy came that if you are not an indigene, there are some certain benefits that you will not benefit. That forced me back to Nigeria. And when we come here, I am telling you, based on what is happening now, the Chinese are giving more advantage than us, the indigenous business in Nigeria. Now I want to ask, if the Chinese are being given preferential treatment than we, the indigenous, for instance, if you go to the free trade zone, most of the times they bring their goods without paying money. And when we come back, they will force us to stay below the cost without even adding the custom duty. Then, I want to also seize this opportunity to ask my customs that are here. Okay, this idea of double taxation that everybody is clamoring or asking for, I want to seize this opportunity to ask, why is it that after we must have cleared our goods from the custom, from the port, from the wharf, from the tin can, and on the way taking that goods to our warehouse, there is this group of people that call themselves Federal Operation. They will intercept the same goods on the road to our warehouse. And before you know it, they will divert this container to Ikeja. And before this container comes out, you will spend almost more than what you have paid to bring out the container. I also, the third thing I want to ask is this. My co-traders, why is it that we, the business people that are saying we want to boost the economy of Nigeria, we want to boost the economy of Nigeria, and the cost of clearing 40 feet container here is close to 14-15 million naira to 16 million naira, and we want to boost that economy. I want to tell you that you are invariably given opportunity to Cotonou, because virtually all of us, we are diverted to Cotonou, because that's where you can clear a container with 7 million, 8 million. Then here you pay close to 16 million. Thank you and God bless you.
So the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy will speak now and then move on. Thank you. Mr. Wali.
Thank you. Good afternoon. The Honorable Minister of State Finance and Assistant, Dr. Mrs. Doris. The convener
for this very, very important occasion. Very well done. I'm not sure I was invited, but I know I had a clash, but you cannot be hosting the like of this or even anything, and I do not make an attempt to be here. Let me apologize that I will be leaving shortly. I'll be late to catch up an appointment to me. Let me also say that I'm listening to the questions, and they are very germane. I will speak just simply to those, rather than doing what I'm sure our sister has done, which is take you through the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and where it has brought us in terms of removing major distortions that were disturbing the economy, in terms of stabilizing the macro environment in which we operate. We all are traders, we all operate in the foreign exchange market. You know what it was, you know what it is. Even the oil and gas sector, you know what it was, you know what it is. Now more of a level playing field, more of willing buyer, willing seller, market pricing of petroleum products, market pricing of foreign exchange, which relieves you of what you had to do before to access those particular items. More importantly is what is happening going forward. And that's what I think. I'll just answer some of the questions. I saw Senator Ajibu as he was going out, and he commended highly this effort. And let me at this point recognize all those from government who have participated and are participating. And I will always recognize when you say oil and gas, and you say the Iron Lady, the Amazon, Chief Mrs. Uju, Britannia Oil and Gas. You're most welcome, and I'm sure you are contributing strongly. But I recognize all of you, the market leaders, the presidents of the associations, the businessmen and women here. The issue that is germane that has come up is one of taxation. And I must say, through a joint effort of the legislature, of course, the judiciary had a role to play in bringing up the document itself, our own legal side, the executive, as well as to an extent the general public, the professionals, have brought out a new 2026 Tax Act to be implemented from January 1. But just as you have said, now the government is having its own committee that has to implement. And the dialogue that you asked for, I can assure you, will play a big role. There needs to be dialogue, there must be dialogue. Even the feedback from people that we are hearing here today is telling us that there is need for more explanation, more clarification, and when it comes to major reform, it's all about the timing, it's all about the sequencing, and as you say, it's all about the consultation. The aim is to make the system fairer, to make it clearer, to make it more efficient, and of course, to spread the tax net as wide as possible so that everybody that benefits gets a chance to contribute accordingly. So rather than having an extra federal layer that is now collecting and making us internationally uncompetitive, the idea is to eliminate those, to reduce the number of payment points and so forth. But that is an ongoing conversation. You have asked that it be very well spelled out,
And that is what will happen, not just for President Balogun Business Association, but for everybody. Then in terms of trade facilitation, from the first quarter, there will be implemented a national single window project. And the idea is to use automation, digitization, and even artificial intelligence to improve the processes, speed them up, make them more efficient, and of course, more cost effective, to bring down the cost of international transactions, to bring down the cost of importing, and even in the case of exports, bring down the administrative costs that are associated with exporting. So that is the commitment under these particular initiatives, the tax reform, under the national single window trade improvement and facilitation project, and in general under the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I thank you for giving me this opportunity, and as I said, it's an ongoing dialogue. There have been participants here who say they want to see this effort sustained, continued, and even built upon. I congratulate you. I wish you the best of luck in that, and of course, you have our support anytime, any day. Thank you.
All right, we'll just allow the Honorable Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy exit. Thank you, but we're very excited that you came. Your words have been very reassuring. Thank you.
Hello. Teddy guy. Hello, sir. Let me just sit down. Now, wow.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Photo, you can't stay there. Now, wow. You can move to one side now. Hello. Photo.
Please, can we take these pictures in batches? Please.
Hello. Hello. Move this live transmission. Why?
Ladies with the Honorable Minister first. Mayor, can you please give them the opportunity to start with your first? Thank you. Please make it clear, give space, Mayor, can we please give the
Hello. This is live transmission now.
Please, can we give the ladies space to start? Thank you. Children can join in.